My name is Nathan Gray, and today I'm going to tell you exactly why Sterling Sharpe deserves a statue here at USC. And I know you may be thinking, Nathan, I don't even know who Sterling Sharpe is. Well, if you don't know who Sterling Sharpe is, that's pretty bad because that man is a legend. He is a legend here on campus, and you definitely need to know who he is. Now, but you don't have to worry because I'm going to tell you who he is. I'll take this on personally. So, Sterling Sharpe is the brother to Shannon Sharpe. He's the older brother of Shannon Sharpe. Now, Shannon Sharpe is an NFL co-host of a show called Undisputed. Now, this is a very popular show. It's a talk show with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless. And they argue back and forth about sports and really anything. But it's not important what they do. Shannon Sharpe is in the NFL Football Hall of Fame, which is a great feat. Like, that's awesome. I know not many people get in there. So in his NFL Hall of Fame speech that everyone has to give when they get inducted, he talks about how he is the only person in the Football Hall of Fame that has a person in their family that's not in the Hall of Fame that's better than they were. And there he's talking about Sterling Sharpe. Now, that's a crazy thing to say about someone because, I mean, this man was great. Shannon was great. And he got put in the Hall of Fame and he's saying, guys, my brother's not in here. He was better than me. I mean, that's a crazy thing to say, and that's humble, but that's awesome. So Sterling graduated here in 1989, and he played NFL for Green Bay Packers. So, who's Sterling? What did he do? And we don't care about his brother. So Sterling had a lot of records here, but we'll get to that in a second. Sterling Sharpe is one out of 4 people that have their number retired here. There are 4 people, only 4 that have their number retired. We don't retire numbers anymore. We retire jerseys. So he's one of the only 4. There's not going to be any more numbers retired. So, out of the 4, 2 people got their numbers retired while they were still playing here. One was Sterling. The other was George Rogers. Now, George Rogers has a statue here in Columbia by the stadium. So George Rogers is the only person in USC history that has won the Heisman Trophy. Now that's insane, and he did a whole bunch of stuff and broke a bunch of records. He was a running back, and he does have a statue, but Sterling doesn't. And Sterling also got his number retired while he was still playing football. I mean, that says a lot about you for you to get your number retired while you're still playing. You haven't even finished. No one knows what you're going to do the rest of your college career, and then if you go on to the NFL. So I mean, that shows how good you really are. So Sterling had he has a bunch of records, one of which was that he had 11 touchdowns in one season, which is a whole bunch. He played wide receiver. So 11 touchdowns in one season, that record was broken recently by Sidney Rice, which Sidney Rice is good too, but I mean, Sterling was a beast. They didn't even throw the ball a lot in that day and age. We throw the ball a lot more now than they did back then. So to put up numbers like he was doing was insane. So he was a first-round pick in the NFL draft, and he got drafted by the Green Bay Packers. So, at the Green Bay Packers, he started every single game his first year playing. And him and Brett Favre got together. Now, Brett Favre is a great quarterback, and they were the #1 tandem in the NFL at one point. So they had the most yards, the most catches, the most touchdowns out of anyone in the NFL, them two combined, because the quarterback and the wide receiver. So, I mean, that's crazy to think about. Now, Sterling had this thing called the Triple Crown. And now in the NFL, that's where you have #1 in wide receiving yards, #1 in wide receiver catches, and #1 in wide receiver touchdowns. So he got that in one season, and he held all of them. So, I mean, no one does that. He's the first person, obviously he's the only person in that year, but he is one out of 3 people that have done that since 1966. It is now 2021. I mean, that is crazy to think about. This man held all 3 of those in one year. And the very next year, he goes up and breaks his own record for catches. So that made him the first person to have 100+ catches in 2 back-to-back seasons. I mean, that's a bunch of catches. And you still have to think, this isn't the day and age of now. Like, now we throw the ball a whole bunch. Back then, they didn't throw the ball like that. I mean, it was a running football game. You hand it off, and the dude goes. I mean, throwing the ball wasn't a big thing. Now, he played in the NFL for 7 seasons. His NFL career was unfortunately cut short due to a neck injury. And now he plays golf. But in them 7 years, he was 5-time All-Pro. 3-time, he was I have it written down. Oh, sorry, I had that wrong. He was 5-time Pro Bowl, 3-time All-Pro, out of 7 seasons. That's insane. This man out of 7 seasons, 5 of which he was a Pro Bowler? I mean, how do you get any better than that? There's only 2 seasons that he wasn't a Pro Bowler. And 3 times he was All-Pro. His rookie season, he started every game. This man was a legend, not only in the NFL, but here in college. And his brother is trying to fight for him to get in the NFL Hall of Fame because out of them 7 seasons, he played great football. And he does deserve to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. And anyone that knows him thinks the exact same thing. And if he has the feet to get in the NFL Hall of Fame, he definitely deserves a statue here. I mean, you put a statue with him right by George Rogers. This man was insane. He was a beast. He did great things here in Columbia. He made a bunch of records. And he's a great dude. And that's exactly why he deserves a statue here. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope y'all all have a blessed day.